Give it a sec. Hey everybody, my name is David. I am the community development lead at MakerDAO, and welcome to the March 5th community call. So if you are not familiar with what this call is about, we basically just go over all of the stuff in the MakerDAO universe, and we go over partnerships, events, community highlights, all that kind of good stuff. So actually, this week I have something new to share with you guys who are actually on the call itself. So I'm gonna post in the chat a public-facing just agenda document. So all of the stuff that I'm talking about is in this agenda. So if you want a link to it, I don't have to post it in the chat. You guys could just find it all in that one document. So, and actually give me 3 seconds. I just need to refresh my Google Meets page because it froze. So 1 second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, cool. So to kick it off, we usually like to do events. So I'm gonna... Oh, snap. Aviv Milner is in the call. All right, so yeah, first we like to kick things off with events. So we're actually having a really interesting time in Europe. We have Lenka, who's going to talk to us about ETHCC and some of the other stuff that's going on in Blockchain Week there right now.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, guys. Hello from Paris. I'm at the Ethereum Community Conference venue. It's like a old university, I think. So it has really this cool vibe to it. Actually, today was the first day of ECC. We didn't have any talks today, but we'll have a bunch of tomorrow and day after. So let me just take you very quick through what's happening here. Yes, so yesterday we actually had the first event happening. There was like a meetup at the physical crypto place called CoinHouse. It was a panel on stablecoins, and we had Gustav, who's our biz dev. He's here in Paris with me, and he was doing really well. Discussing topics around the stablecoins with the people from Tether and Circle. So that was interesting. It was a very, very, polite talk at the same time, but very lively. Tomorrow, we will have actually, I'm going to leave a call in 30 minutes because I will be going and doing a meetup for developers together with State of the Depths and also Fluence Network. We'll have our former verification researcher, Martin Lundfall, to give overview of the system architecture. That's also happening at CoinHouse tonight. And tomorrow we'll have...
Do you know if that's recorded, the Martin Lundfall overview of the system architecture?
I would actually say that 90% this will be recorded. It won't be streamlined, but it should be able to be recorded. So I will do my best to pass this on to the people. Yeah, he'll give 25 minutes talk about that. So I will, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for asking. He'll give a talk as well tomorrow, 11 to 11:45. Basically, I just want to say to everyone, if you're not at ECC, all the rooms with the funny French names are being streamed, so you're welcome to catch it. I can find a link and post it. There's different links for different rooms, so it should be possible. So Martin will be speaking at 11 to 11:45 about subjectivity versus objectivity in decentralized systems, which I think will be a really nerdy and interesting talk. And then we'll have Gustav speaking about more generic about intro to MakerDAO. There will be at 12:05 to 12:35. And then we'll have Gustav in a panel, actually. We're having quite big event on DeFi. We'll have Vinay from Ethereum, and we'll have Taylor from MyCrypto, and many other interesting speakers in 2 panels focusing on DeFi. First one will be focusing on the building part, and the second one will be focusing on the impact part. I will need to see if this is being recorded. I will need to get back to you regarding that. And then on Thursday, March 7th, which is the 3rd day of ECC, we'll have our legal counsel for Europe, Jacek, to speak about the legal side of the decentralized finance. from 10 o'clock, 10:05 to 10:35. And we'll also have Ashley, who is from our BizDev team, actually talking about business development and crypto. That will be like 4:35 in the afternoon until 4:55. So I'll just I think like all the streaming links are available at ECC, so I'll just share the website with you. So there's a lot of stuff happening here in Paris, and it's very exciting to be here. And yeah, I'm also like running into some core community people here, and I love to do that. And I also like run into our grantees here, and yeah, I like bought some ECC swag with XDAI I had left, and there's like yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, so it's really exciting.
You're making me jealous, Lenka. You're making me want to
Yep,
go back to
sorry, I'm done.
September.
It sucks. It completely sucks. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's
That
good.
was a monologue from me. I'll share the links.
No, that's good. That's great. This is great. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different talks at HCC across the 2 days, and
Yeah,
then
I
one
think
today. Oh no,
yeah,
so across the
four
whole
people
event.
speaking from Maker
Yeah.
and 3 different meetups. And then Martin Lundfall just made like a spontaneous formal verification meetup, just like I just retweeted it just like now. So there's a lot of stuff happening.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really
Mm,
cool. All right, thanks for the update, Lenka. All right,
happy
Mariano
to share.
DP is not here today, but I will cover the stuff that he put into our agenda doc. So he mentioned is that Calcutta or Calcutta meetup? It's an important event in the region. Lots of Venezuelan refugees. Actually, this is an event not only to show how Dai can help them in the actual state of things, but also to talk with them to see what are their problems and which services do we need to create as a community to develop use cases for real world problems. So that's a really cool meetup that's coming up. He didn't give me an event on that though. Sorry.
If I can jump into this, I
Yeah.
was at Arakan and there was this guy Moises, who is actually like Venezuelan. He's doing research and he was talking about like he had really cool presentation about like how can we actually help address social and humanitarian and political crisis with decentralized technology. And he was literally like speaking about this, like people crossing the border from Venezuela to get groceries and medicine, and then coming back. Like it's ridiculous, like what kind of state this country is at. So I hope that Dai can help and we can help as well, because it's a big issue.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to go to a meetup like that. That'd be really cool. But all right, cool. And then he also mentions a Mexico event at BBVA Open Space Mexico, which is organized by Blockchain Academy. BBVA Bank educating their employees about crypto and blockchain apps, and there's going to be something like 150 plus attendees. All right, cool. I don't know the dates of those 2 events, but those 2 events are happening in South America. So thank you, Mariano, if you listen to this call afterwards for the update. And then we also have Du, our community manager from South Korea. He updated us with an event on the 15th of March. So it's called MakerDAO Presents Real World Blockchain Applications and Use Cases Conference. And there's about 250 people there. He's invited various projects like Storm, Loon Network, Engine, etc. So Du is an absolute superstar in Korea. He has been organizing events left and right, pretty much since he started. So this is actually really cool. I wonder if it's really like only MakerDAO for this conference, or if he has other people presenting. I'm actually gonna message him and give you guys an update on that next week. All right. So for events, I believe that is all. I'm going to move on to the next section, technical milestones, online events, notable things, partnerships, and the new hires. So I'm going to talk about new hires, and this week has been really, really great for MakerDAO. So we actually one of our new hirees is actually here on the call. Kenny is here. Mr. Kenny Rowe, he's a MakerDAO OG, and he's actually here as a core community lead, just like me. So, Kenny, if you're here, you want to say hi?
Great. So thanks for having me. This is very much a homecoming for me. So I've been away for about a year and a half or so, and coming back to see not that I ever really left. I've always kept tabs on what's going on here, but it's really amazing, even to see how much traction we've been able to achieve in the last several months. But what I'll be focusing on, just generally speaking, is some governance issues, along with all other types of community issues. So, these calls are very important to me. I want to hear from people. I also am very interested in how we come together and make decisions as groups. And so, with that, I think we have a lot to, talk about in the near future about risk parameters and how we're going to keep this thing stable.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. Absolutely. And, I think that forward facing, just addressing those questions of governance and how the maker community really, really evolves is paramount to like the long term success of the system, because ultimately it's not the Maker Foundation that's getting this thing to operate and move forward. It's the MKR holders, and the MKR holders belong to like this distributed group of people all around the world that may not necessarily have ties to the foundation. And really excited to have you on, man. So thank you for coming back. Also, if you just joined the call recently, I am trying something new this week. I have a public-facing community call agenda document. So anything I cover in the call, you could check out the links to like blog posts, community mentions, all that kind of stuff there, and also the events and all the recap that we did. So feel free to check that out. It's in the chat. All right, cool. So Kenny Rowe is one of our new hires this week, and we actually have another new hire this week who's also here today, who's actually the guest on the call, who we're going to talk to a little bit later after we do all of the other sort of recap. But Cyrus Unesi is here. Cyrus, if you want to just say hi real quick, feel free.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
Awesome, man. Glad to have you. So Cyrus is joining as our risk management lead, and he is joining us from Chicago. All right, and then we have two more new hires that I'm gonna announce here. So we have Kathleen, who's starting as our community lead in Japan, and we also have Jakob, who is a JS developer, joining the Oasis team in Warsaw. So those are our four new hires this week. In other news, we also have a Dai developer documentation blog post that came out officially from us. This is where you can like find documentation that will guide developers through the process. These guides and tutorials enable you to like understand the various approaches to integrating with MakerDAO, SDKs, APIs, and other products. And they cover pertinent topics like CDP creation, Dai, governance, keepers, oracles, and more. So if you are a developer and you want to work with MakerDAO and Dai, definitely check out that blog post. It'll point you to some good resources. And another official blog post that we put out this week was the post-mortem on the Oasis contract upgrade. So if you guys were around a few weeks ago, we had to this is already besides taking down the front ends, but the actual contract was upgraded because there was a vulnerability found in the code, which allowed for an attack on the order book. If you want more details on that, definitely check out the link that's in that community call agenda that I posted. Really interesting stuff. But the Oasis team managed to get it fixed within like I think 2 days of identifying the bug, and nobody successfully exploited it for any gain as far as we could tell. So definitely check that out. All right, so that's it from like our official communications and our official news. But we do have some awesome highlights from the community. And I guess this one is maybe half and half, but so we run well, I'm trying to put forward like this monthly initiative called the MakerDAO Community Mentions of the Month. Well, yeah, the community mention of the month. So the idea behind this is basically we give some reward to one person in the community on our Reddit who posted something like really interesting, started like either a really interesting discussion that kind of caught fire, or produced something that was really cool, maybe like a developer tool or a website, or whatever it might be. But if you're a community member and you're doing something, basically you have a chance to win some Reddit Platinum and maybe even a Dai tip. And I'm kind of fine tuning this thing, but this is the second one, and I put out the post yesterday, so definitely check that out. I think we actually had a winner. It was at least average. That's his name in Reddit, and he put out a recap and notes on actually our risk and governance call from a couple weeks ago, and he did it again for this last week's one. So he has been really great, really great for putting up a resource like that, because I know a lot of people really love reading the transcripts on those meetings. All right, so next we have, actually I saw this on Twitter right before the call, but the first 100,000 Dai auction on the Dutch X trading protocol has just been placed by Gnosis, so that's pretty cool. We also saw the launch this week of the DeFi Pulse website, which monitors USD value of assets locked in, like lending, derivatives, assets, all these kinds of things in the DeFi space. So that's pretty cool. We also saw a Mike Novogratz rocking Maker Swag tweet. Everybody kind of was appalled that they don't have access to those hoodies. Even I don't have a Maker hoodie like he does. I don't know how he got it. I won't.
Yeah, how did he get it?
Yeah, no idea. Well, apparently it was a limited run, according to Coulter. Coulter's our head of marketing. He was like, yeah, he got it a long time ago, but just goes to show it's good that people are starting to know about us a little bit. All right, moving forward. There were a couple of really cool articles that came out. So there was Maker Governance unwrapping the importance of stability fees by Fitzner Blockchain Consulting. So they did like a brief write up on the conversation that's been going on in the risk and governance meetings over the last few weeks about the stability fees. And actually, they did I was surprised how good the write up was. So definitely check that out. And in addition to that, we also have our friends at Placeholder VC that put out the Maker Network Overview paper, which is, I think, like a 10 or 11 page paper. Each page covers like some really, really great data driven insights on Maker. They go into like CDP usage and Dai usage and like all these really cool metrics, and they bring out some great insights that I didn't know about. So definitely a paper worth reading or even skimming through, if you're into that. And lastly, we have an announcement from Ching, which is a Dai POS thing. So if you've been a regular attendee of these community calls, a couple of months ago we had Aaron come out and show us DaiPos. And DaiPos was a winner of like a hackathon. I forgot exactly which hackathon, but uh, he won it, and he came on and actually did a demo for us. I wish I had gotten the date. Yeah, X DaiPos, exactly. And so he and his team actually refined X DaiPos to become Ching. And Ching is like it's like having the burner wallet, but also like a way cleaner interface, and like also like a whole POS system that's super intuitive. You could add items, remove items. You can get full breakdown of transactions, all that kind of stuff. Santosh in the chat is asking if we want to see a demo of XDAI now. I'm gonna hold off on that until the end of the call. If we have like time towards the end, we can get to that. But yeah. So yeah, Ching goes to Dappy Hour, and so the article that Aaron and his team at Ching put out was actually that at ETH Denver during our Dai Dappy Hour, where people tested out the XDAI burner wallet, he set up alongside his Ching, XDAI POS system and tested it. So it was a recap of how that worked alongside our system. So it's actually really cool. All right. I guess that is it for highlights from the community for this week. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest of today's community call, Cyrus Unessi.
Hey, how's
So
it going?
Cyrus? It's good. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions just so you could better introduce yourself to the community and we can get to know a bit more about you. So if you guys haven't been around Maker for a while, Cyrus has been like around the community for quite a long time. So Cyrus, how did you like first hear about MakerDAO?
I think just through Reddit, I used to come across a lot of Runes posts, and I used to follow Vitalik pretty religiously on Reddit, and I would notice that they would interact from time to time, and Rune always spoke with some air of authority. He really seemed like a guy who knew what the hell he was doing. And actually, when the DAO hack happened, I sent some private messages to Rune, and asking him, like, I was pretty new to crypto back then. I was kind of like, what the hell's going to happen? And he responded to me, and he was very helpful. And basically, I really admired the way he was, kind of being a leader in the community. And from there, I just started checking out their project. Joined I think it was a Slack channel or something before Rocket Chat. I can't remember what it was.
That's actually interesting. So you became interested in Maker more because of like the leadership style and like public face of Rune rather than the technical aspect of the project.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't understand Maker for like years. I don't know if I still understand it.
Yeah, dude, I was about to say I don't understand Maker. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I mean that's always kind of been. I mean, I could say the same about ETH. I mean, back in the day, or how many people invest in Bitcoin and they don't really know what it is.
Right.
Sometimes, kind of when you just find some people that are really dedicated, they're smart, they got a great team. That's really all it takes to kind of get interested in the community.
Yeah, definitely. I was drawn to Maker for like much of the same reasons. Definitely a lot of the people in the organization itself made me feel very positive about our project and just how it's managed. Yeah, definitely. Cool, man. So you wrote a few articles about Maker in the past. What prompted those? What were you doing before Maker?
So I used to like, quick background. I used to work as a trader, and the company I worked for had a crypto desk called Cumberland Mining, which is a popular OTC desk. So I spent some time there doing investment research, and from there I transitioned into a crypto hedge fund called Scalar Capital, where I was director of research and trading. And part of my job was obviously finding ways to make money, find new investments, and I'd obviously been really interested in Maker at the time. So kind of one of the work mandates I had was to really, dig deep into the protocol and kind of go from having just a superficial understanding of, being able to say, oh yeah, the guys there are really cool, to actually saying, oh, this is how it works. These are the drawbacks. This is the potential. And my old boss, Linda, she was very, she really like kind of pushed me to take my knowledge and my understanding and create content out of it that could help the broader crypto community. And I just basically, the things that I picked up and learned, I started writing about it, and I guess they got some good traction. I don't really know, but I know that they're it's a complicated subject, and I was just doing my best to try to kind of break things down step by step.
Yeah, I think the value of some of those articles was the fact that like almost nobody was putting out very technical sort of insights into the Maker system, and you were like one of the first people to really dive in and do that, and I think that's where the value was.
Although, I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the community writing art. I mean, some of them are in this chat
nowadays,
right here.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying when you first put out the articles, it was like I think you did 2 or 3 of them, right?
Yeah, like maybe middle of last year or something. But
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, the the stablecoin hype seemed to really focus around, Tether and its issues, and then, USDC
Right.
and then for a while there was like 100 stablecoins, and still no one was giving, any attention to Dai, because there was just like all of a sudden too many of them. I think I think Maker kind of separated itself from the herd a little bit, maybe the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Maybe I had something to do with that. I'm just joking.
You're the reason, man.
I'm just joking.
All right, cool. So that's cool. All right. So you're here. You're at Maker. You are the risk management lead. What does that mean? What's like your primary focus for like the next 6 to 12 months?
Right. So, when I noticed that Maker was starting to really transition from kind of a technical project into more of a, social project, where it's actually, becoming used, and there's kind of soft governance issues. It's no longer just about codes and audits and that stuff. I started to kind of, reach out a little bit, talking to Rich and saying like, okay, well, I know the kind of the holy grail has always been multi-collateral, and that obviously involves being able to assess, different assets in crypto outside of Maker. That kind of just so happened to be my specialty for the past year and a half, where I was doing investment research for 2 companies. I feel like I had a really good understanding of valuation models, kind of what drives various crypto token structures, utility tokens, whatever. And personally, I'm very cynical, and I kind of viewed the space from a very, everything is kind of not very good unless you prove otherwise. And I think that critical point of view, I thought that it could be helpful to multi-collateral. And I also happen to have some trading experience and some, quant finance degree. So kind of had experience on the market side and trying to evaluate, the market side of collateral types as well. So I think it kind of just blended together to be a good fit for risk management.
Nice. That seems to make a lot of sense. Everything kind of comes together. Yeah, it's definitely great for risk to be skeptical. So I applaud you in that. I'm also a horrible cynic when it comes to investments, but that's why I'm in crypto, right?
Yeah.
So, side question: do you see? So I know we know that we're going to see probably a division of assets in multi-collateral Dai akin to like regulated securities, traditional assets on one hand, and then like crypto assets, more permissionless stuff like Ether on the other hand. Do you see, on the other hand, on the crypto side, like a lot of potential assets that are currently around, or do you see, like, I don't know, me personally, I kind of see the space as a bit dead for like really good liquid assets?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's weird because there are assets that exist, but because they're on different protocols, it's a bit difficult to
Mm,
kind of port them over to ETH, and hence the Maker system. So, obviously we're seeing a little bit of a sluggish start with wrapped Bitcoin, but let's say we could, then there's all sorts of great bearer assets in crypto that we'd love to have. It'll take a bit of creativity to find out kind of the best way to bring them over, because right now it's the kind of the custodial model that BitGo's using, but I'm also aware of several projects that are trying to trustlessly bridge Bitcoin over to ETH, which potentially might open up the door to kind of real Bitcoin on Ethereum. We'll see. Work in progress, I guess.
yeah, nice. So over the course of your role here at Maker, are you going to be putting out any like publicly available documentation related to risk assessment and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So right now I'm working on a few things. One is kind of a FAQ for risk teams. Kind of what does a risk team look like? What are the responsibilities? You know, how do they coordinate with the MKR token holders? You know, kind of what is the process for, you know, independent research team says, hey, you know, I want to get involved in this. I think I have a really good, you know, good eye for monetary policy. Trying to sort out that whole aspect. And then main thing I'm working on is actually creating a risk template for the risk teams to use, you know, sort of scientific governance model where we're going to lay out the expectations for what we want to see. By we, I mean the MKR holders want to see from risk teams, qualitative models, quantitative models, you know, how they assess liquidity in the markets, how they assess correlation, you know, cross correlation of different assets in the collateral pool. There's a lot of work to be done, and I think, yeah, my first step is to put out documentation and public facing materials where we can kind of get the ball rolling.
Nice, man. Nice, man. I'm excited to see those come out. Jordan Crandall in the chat asks, besides Bitcoin, what is another good crypto asset that you're thinking of on chain? On another chain, I mean.
I mean, it's not really up to me. It's kind of more of an engineering question of what people are able to bring over. But I think, you know, if they can do Bitcoin, then they can probably do Zcash. You know,
yeah.
Not
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, let's just put a pin in that. Come back to it a little later. All right, cool. So moving forward, how does this is actually a great question that was asked in the chat too. I think it was asked by Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken. How does your role compare to Steven's, and will the risk framework documents be reworked? So it's actually a little bit related to your last ones.
Right. Will the risk document? What's up, Alex?
The risk framework docs, yeah.
They no, they definitely won't be reworked. Those risk documents from Steven were phenomenal. They were really, 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 really good. My job is to kind of get it more detailed and more granular and kind of break down all the different risks that he talks about and how to quantify them, how to measure them, and how to eventually mitigate them. And what was the other part of your question?
So how does your role compare to his?
Oh, so I mean, Steven has a bit of a hybrid role. He's also president of Maker, right?
Yeah.
And he's kind of he's like the risk visionary, and I'm kind of maybe the kind of digging deep in the details, kind of implementing things. It's a very much a collaborative effort between me, him, and Maddie, where, you know, definitely three of us working together, and, you know, definitely the things I put together will, you know, he kind of oversees everything and is very much involved. But you know, when it comes down to, you know, evaluating a collateral type for the foundation's interim risk team, you know, that's obviously going to be me kind of doing the due diligence and going from there.
Nice, man. Thank you for answering. And lastly, so over the last like month, there's been this huge question of the stability fee, how much to increase it in response to the current state of Dai trading below the dollar peg. So what are your thoughts on like the needed stability fee increase based on like the last few weeks of meetings and like what you've seen so far?
Right. My main thought is that it's just unfortunate that we don't have more policy tools at our disposal. I think a lot of people would prefer to tinker with the Dai savings rate in order to kind of stoke demand a bit, rather than necessarily try to curb the supply. That being said, I expect stability fee increases to work. There's definitely some sound logic there. I think that they needed to be increased regardless of whatever the demand and the Dai savings rate was.
Is that like to match market rates of like other, I guess not competitors because they're like I mean, yeah. Is it more to like match rates across the space, or what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I guess that's one benchmark or framework you can look at. I think just kind of intuitively, it makes sense. It was quite recently just like 0.5%, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're basically allowing a permissionless margin system when ETH is just crashed 95%. There was obviously a lot of people, saying, okay, this is awesome. Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
The fact that we were seeing so much interest in this, really should have set off like, hey, maybe we're giving out a really good deal, and we were giving out a really, really good deal. And then, unfortunately, we got to kind of walk that back a little bit until we find the right level of stability fees. But yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously this is breaking new grounds, new experiments, and I think the reception from the wider crypto community has been nothing but absolutely positive. I haven't heard even one criticism saying like, what the hell?
So there is one question that I heard resurface a couple of times. Why don't what's the argument against using the debt ceiling since we're in single collateral Dai? What's the argument for why can't we use the debt ceiling as a policy tool?
Like just to drop the debt ceiling?
If we were to drop it down to 90 million, right, from 100 million, wouldn't that solve the oversupply problem by basically like stopping Dai issuance and allowing market maker inventories to rebalance and all that kind of good stuff?
I think so, but I think that that's more of a okay. So in the same way that I prefer to solve this with the Dai savings rate, in my mind I kind of view
the stability fee.
Sorry, what?
The same way, the same way you'd want to solve it with, you said the Dai savings rate. Don't you mean the stability?
Yeah. No. Like I would have preferred to fix this with, to stoke demand with.
Oh, if it was
if we had it,
right.
I kind of view the collateral parameters as should be more related to the risk of the collateral. I feel like the stability fee, the debt ceiling, and the collateralization rate should be very collateral specific. Mm-hmm. And I kind of view the monetary policy as something that we should try to manage with the Dai savings rate. So, the debt ceiling should really reflect the amount of risk that MKR holders want to take from a certain collateral type.
Right.
Not necessarily, I mean, you could, but just not necessarily something that I think MKR holders want to use to manage.
I think the way Rune answered it was that like using the debt ceiling as a policy tool to like solve this issue right now is like a temporary solution, and it's actually going to distort the overall data that we have, and like we should really, as like a governing body, fix this through like the policy tool at hand, the stability fee,
right?
Because that's what it's meant for.
Right, and then also from kind of like a psychological and precedent way, Maker is growing, right? The Dai supply has been kind of one way up for a year and a half. It just kind of sends like an odd message to just, to forcibly, curtail it in that sense. That's just kind of my opinion. I'm not really 100% on that. Just my intuition.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, let me just catch up on the chat. So Jordan says, since we've already seen a lot of friction with even trying to decide on a simple stability fee change, will you begin to think through reducing this friction, or will you be working more with the risk teams to create good info, and then other people will be working on the actual governance? So I could actually partially answer that. I know that you're working more on the analysis side, and I actually know for a fact that Kenny Rowe, who's here today, is going to be working a lot more on the sort of frictionlessness of the social side of governance itself. Is that right? Am I right to say that, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. And
All right,
and
cool.
the basic answer to that is there is a lot of friction right now, but mostly because we're just sort of getting started. We're putting processes in place that are new to everyone and are well, they're not. The information about them is not widely known. So if you could imagine when like the United States or any of those countries were getting formed in the 18th century, if you were living in a far-flung rural area, how would you have known that the federal government was like, what do they do? Like, how do they do business? How do they, you would have no idea. But eventually that information propagates out about how representative democracy works. So in the Maker case, what we're doing now is we're building, or what I'm very interested in is building processes by which everybody sort of knows about and knows how to interact with, right? So the individual risk parameters are very important. Like, what is the stability fee going to be? But my job is not try to answer that or to even inform that. It's more like, how do we talk about it? How do we broadcast the message that it's been measured, and the work Cyrus is doing and all that kind of stuff. And as that information, as those processes become ingrained in our culture, meaning the wider maker community, the friction becomes lower because we're sort of all kind of know what's going on, and hopefully even we know at what point those things are changing and how things are evolving. But very much there's a lot of friction right now. There's also a lot of issues around like voting in general that do need to get sorted out, and that's kind of why we're all here.
Yeah, definitely. It's like trying to strike a fine balance between like that one core principle of scientific risk and also, the fact that we're a DAO in general, because people voting on things tends to get hairy and subjective, and like we want to keep it as on point to task as we can, and presenting that information is certainly an art. And yeah, awesome. Thank you, Kenny. Well said. All right. Yeah. So, Cyrus, I think that's all the questions I had for you, man. So thank you for
Yeah.
coming on the call. I really appreciate you sticking your face out here and saying hi to our community and just being part of the team, man. Yeah, you're one of the most exciting. You're one of my favorite people that has been hired this year. So I'm really glad to have you on Maker.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yeah, dude. All right. Let's see. I know that where is he? Santosh. Did you wanna do the XDAI POS? Are you talking about Ching? Are you part of the Ching team, Santosh? So Santosh wanted to do a demo of the XDAI, but I'm not sure if he meant XDAI POS.
No, I meant XDAI and DAI, where
Oh,
you can.
you mean like the burner wallet itself or the bridge on POA?
Not as such, but I'm using both XDAI chain and DAI to tip people. And the project is called Penny. I can give you a little demo, which is
Yeah,
still.
sure. I mean, we have about 15 minutes left on the call, so I'm glad to check out what you have.
Yeah. So, all right. So you might be familiar with the tipping.me, Lightning Network tipping thing. So this is called Project Penny, where you tip a penny to a tweet, a penny for your tweet kind of thing. So it's currently on the mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, where you can tip a penny. So just click on the penny button there. So you get a dialog box asking you to tip Monario. Just tip Chrome or MetaMask.
So is this project open source?
No, it's not open source yet, but currently it's on working progress. Maybe might get launched in a week or so. So this is, if you can see here, for tipping one DAI,
Yeah.
point one penny, you have the cost is 2 pennies. If I can you see the highlight there? It's
Yeah.
2 pennies for tipping a penny.
Yeah, see that?
So this is currently the gas fee which mainnet of Ethereum has scalability issues and the gas price. If I move to the XDAI chain, just have to change it here. XDAI.
So, fun fact about XDAI. We actually used the burner wallet in ETH Denver, and it facilitated, I think, over like $30,000 or $40,000 of transactions, and it cost a
Whoa.
total on all those transactions, I think, like less than 20 cents, or was it less
That's
than 2
cool.
cents?
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really really cheap on POA.
So I just switch to the XDAI network. Then
So
come
this
here.
is it's not its own wallet. It actually uses MetaMask, right?
Yeah, this is currently integrated with the MetaMask because onboarding is a currently issue with the community,
Right.
and because of different chain, people are building on different. They're building their own wallets, and MetaMask is providing uh, uh, Ethereum chain and side chain. We can relate on the MetaMask. So people are most of people should build on MetaMask rather than moving to build their own wallets. That's my thought on it. So currently I'm on a Dai chain. Just click a penny there. So the cost for 1 penny is 1 penny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can look at here. Since MetaMask haven't provided the support yet for the XDAI, still it shows as Ethereum, but it's just a XDAI there.
Yeah.
So in
Those are gains right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, I can't wait to see this thing more refined. So if I'm a person on Twitter and I want to like collect these tips that people gave to me, how do you solve that problem?
So that's why the tipping that's why penny ID comes into picture. So you register you link your Ethereum your wallet address to add the penny ID. You get a penny ID and you can share the penny ID with anyone. You get a QR code, directly ask anyone to send either Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything you have linked to your penny ID and get tips, payments. There are many factors which I'm currently thinking of and working on the models and the revenue models where which is very much useful. The reason I have picked Dai because Dai has become a symbol of stability here, and people when they recognize a one-to-one value. So if I'm saying they're tipping a penny, they're getting a penny.
Yeah, right.
So and using extra is much more faster than the Lightning Network, which I feel, and I feel that Bitcoin Lightning Network is kind of centralized chain layer, not a scalable solution, but a centralized chain layer to other nodes, other chain layers.
Right.
So
And they don't have a stable coin.
either Bitcoin has to reach a point where it becomes a stable.
Right.
Till that point, we have a Dai for stability.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you're working on POA chain, and that's a really cool extension and tool. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thanks. Wish you a good luck with MakerDAO and the Dai chain. There are many micropayments and Instant app. I'm very much interested in the how the Instant app going to provide services to all the masses, the CDPs and the
So
microservices.
are you part of the Instadap team?
No, I'm not I'm a fan of Instant
You're a
app
fan of them,
because I've known the team. I know the guy who is built that, Ravindra. So I kind of like coming from Indian background, knowing the how the micropayment can revolutionize from taking loan or sending microtransactions, micropayments. It's a revolution when it comes to DeFi. industry, current DeFi industry.
What's like the crypto scene like in India, like specifically like in like the local areas where you're from? Are a lot of people aware of it? Is it kind of like this really small
Um,
budding movement?
I mean, in Bangalore, I'm residing in Bangalore, and it's known for hiring major of blockchain engineers in the world, job hirings. So, and the community in India is very much active, and they have been very progressive. Indian government coming to a regulation period with by this 30th March, they are going to provide a certain regulationary or acts future of the cryptocurrencies. There might be something positive to it. The currently the crypto market seems very much very bright future than way it was before 1 year back. The current hurdle which they were facing was they tried to discourage Indian people to invest to the crypto ecosystem by banning the bank bank to those cryptocurrency exchanges, but they can relax in the coming days. Or there is always they can't ban anything with regard to crypto because it's always peer to peer. There will be always peer to peer OTC transactions, and they are very much aware. And our nation is something that is known for the intellectual people, and they will come to an agreement that we need such assets to deliver the global solutions or the nation solutions where these services can be used and utilized. So very much positive with my perspective and most of the Indian ecosystem, India blockchain ecosystem. There are many events upcoming. One is currently on 30th we have a blockchain India event. There's a hackathon. There will be a retrospect about the communities, crypto communities, how they want to uh, work together with the government, and they are looking forward to the government to give anything positive feedback, if not anything which can help the community grow. That's the perspective of crypto in India.
Nice, man. Nice. Thank you for sharing the perspective. That's really kind of eye-opening. I wonder if we're working on having more community presence in India. But yeah, man, thank you for sharing. Thank you for showing us your project. Really cool stuff, man. I can't wait to see what the finished product looks like.
Thanks to you.
All right, we're coming up on 4 minutes to the top of the hour. So if anybody has any outstanding questions, Akiva, I know you had some BT questions, and unfortunately, Ashley has been like nonstop traveling, so I haven't been able to get her on the call. So hopefully we're gonna keep pushing that forward a little bit. Oh yeah, and also just a friendly reminder that if you are a MKR token holder, we are calling you out to vote. So right now there's a governance poll going on for stability fee increase. Definitely participate. If you haven't set up your voting contract, definitely try. I mean, even if you vote with not all your maker, even a portion of your maker, makes a difference, and you can get acclimated to what you're a part of. So definitely check that out. Why doesn't the poll have other choices? That is a good question. I think that currently the way that it's supposed to go is that there is the choice to either not change it or to change it by the 200 basis points. And that 200 basis points was kind of like the minimum raise that everybody agreed on and seemed like the default. I think there was no real evidence to like there was. Gosh, I wish I could answer that a little bit better for you, Kenny. Do you have a better answer for that?
Yeah, I mean, and there's not a. How about this? The answer there's two parts to that. That's what happened, and then like, is it what we would have preferred to happen? Well, we're getting there. So what happened? What happened was, so last week at the governance call on Thursdays, which happen every week, the topics are brought up and discussed, and in that particular call, the people who were there, meaning Stephen and David and everybody else, discussed the evidence that they had so far to show that there was no effect, or at least no perceived effect, of the last change, which was 50 basis points. And so what was the conversation had moved towards is, well, what would a more appropriate rate be? That number eventually came to 200 basis points or 2%. And then the process that is beginning now is the one that will be communicated further, such that there will be analysis of what came before, meaning the risk teams will do their job. They will present it at a public event, a community forum, which in this case will be the governance calls. Some recommendations will be made. Those recommendations will be put up for a poll. So in the future, we could absolutely see more than one option, but right now there was only one. Those polls will get an idea of what the sentiment is. That will move towards an executive vote. Executive vote will either be enacted or not. If it is enacted, then the process begins all over again. The risk teams see what the effects are. We bring it in a public forum, and that's just currently the specification or general process. It's not going to be the process forever and always. It's just that's what we envision as seeing right now. Right now, we're not totally clear about exactly how much time is needed for each one of those steps, but we're getting closer.
So Jordan writes, just in general, I'd like to see multiple choices in the polls since they aren't binding, and more choices, in my opinion, will induce more voting. I have less incentive to vote right now since it's pretty clear that 2% will happen. Thanks, Kenny.
Right. And I think it's very possible that will happen. And not only that, but do keep in mind right now, we're sort of funneling people towards specific tools, meaning vote.makerdao.com, which everybody should go to. That doesn't mean that code base, which is open source, if it's not, it will be, can't be forked, and other choices can't be made by other teams. So we are not trying to railroad things here either. It's just trying to guide as much as possible. But I do fully expect that there'll be much more rigorous or much more debate, much more dissenting opinions, and even possibly in the far future, competing interests between people who want either lower, there could be a whole contingent of borrowers who always want low fees, and some that, are very concerned about the maintaining stability or maintaining the peg. So there could be, sky's the limit, really.
Right. I agree, Kenny, and I think that in the future we're also going to see a lot more effort to basically educate people on how they could put forth their own proposals when that comes about, and etc. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for attending the meeting. It is now 1 o'clock. Can't wait for next week's recap. Thank you for coming. Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.